Morning, folks. Welcome back. The weather here is just crazy. Just crazy. We just had I don't know what it was. It just came through. The rain picked up and the wind was blowing. The tops of the trees were doing the hula hula dance and crazy weather, crazy weather. But a few days ago, we were well below zero. Now we're, the last 2 days, it's been, well, yesterday I got up to 50 degrees, and today it's warm, and it's raining out, and the wind is blowing, and it's very slippery underfoot. I've got my cleats on, but the ice is so hard, and there's water on top of that ice, so you've got to step very carefully and not rely on the cleats. So somebody watched one of my videos or a few of my videos, and they know me, and they say, "What is going on? Why are you doing all these prepper and shit hit the fan videos? Why are you doing that? There's a lot more content out there that you could be sharing with people." Yes, there is. There's a lot more content. A lot more content that I will do that's not associated with shit hit the fan this and apocalypse and prepping, and there's a lot of stuff I'm going to talk about. But right now I'm going to be talking about this type of material because, you know, I've been living this way for a long time, and when somebody first called me a prepper, I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? What are you talking about? What do you mean prepper? So if you go back and watch my other videos and what I used to call myself, and now I'm just going with the word prepper, practical prepper, because it's just easier, and, you know, that's the terminology of the day, I guess. So, you know, in one of my videos I talked about, you know, the pepper garden, which turned out to be prepper garden because I misread it. And that took me down an awful rabbit hole. So I started watching other videos, and, you know, there's a lot of information out there that is, well, it's either dramatic, they're exaggerating, they are fear-mongering, they're the know-it-all, and a lot of that information was not practical whatsoever. And if anybody started to come to become awake, and they're watching some of these other channels that are dramatic, and they say, you've got to do it this way, you've got to do it that way, it's going to scare a lot of people off, and they're going to say, I don't have the money to do that, I don't have the time, I don't have the space, and I'm just gonna sit back and watch it all unfold around me. It will be what it will be. So I'm like, you know, maybe part of my in here is what I feel we need to level it down. We need to be more practical in thought, practical in nature, and put some rationale behind some of this hype. Get some good information out there, and I'm not saying my information is good. I'm just saying it's my opinion. It's the middle ground approach. It is being practical about the whole thing, you know, not running in panic, not running in fear, but just slowing down and making sure that you are where you need to be or want to be without all the drama and without all the I don't know. So that's why I'm doing this. I'm kind of putting a little bit of real in the unrealistic. I'm putting a little bit of truth out there. Now, when I say truth, it's what's true for me in here, and it's only my thoughts, but I have quite a bit of experience, folks. I'm not saying I'm an expert. I'm not saying I'm all of this and all of that. I'm telling you what is real for here, right now, for me. So that's why I feel that I need to kind of bring things down a few notches and get people to think in other directions, because I think in weird directions than a lot of people. But it's worked for me, and people have thanked me for that. So, you know, some of you may be looking at these videos and saying, oh my God, what a fool, what a fool. Well, that's all right too, but if it works for me, then it works for me, and I'm going to share what works for me just like other people are sharing what works for them. So it's just, that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at right here. I wish some of these channels, which have quite a bit of following, by the way, which they have a lot of followers, and they're dramatic, and maybe that's what brings people to the channel. They're all excited, but look at the information they're giving, folks. Do your own research to see if what they're saying is what's going to work for you. So the first time I heard the word bug out bag, I didn't know what it was. I went to a local store down here, and a young lady, I had to get some block ice. It was summer, and she come out with the key, and she just needed some fresh air from the stale store environment, and it was a beautiful day. And she come out, and she was just going to help me, out of the kindness of her heart, get some block ice out. So I opened the back hatch of my vehicle, and she goes, oh, you've got a dummy bag. A buggy bag. You've got a buggy bag. And I'm like, what are you talking about? What do you mean a buggy bag? What's a buggy bag? And she goes, you got a backpack. She goes, they call that a bug out bag. And I'm like, I have no idea what you're even saying. That's new word. Those are new words for me. I don't understand. She goes, I said, what is a buggy bag? What's a bug out bag? And she goes, in case there's an emergency and you're not at home, it's a bag with survival gear in it so you can get home. And I'm like, oh, so I explained why I have my buggy bag. Now, my buggy bag is just a backpack. And when I used to work away from home, it was about a half hour, 40-minute drive from where I live, but I could either go the interstate or I could go the back roads, which I preferred. And in the wintertime, those back roads were awful, but it was better than going the interstate, where you've got all the other idiots out there that think that, 3 inches of snow on the highway, you can still go like it was bare tar. So I took my chances on the side roads. So if I left the road, I broke down, or something happened on the way home, I had what I needed for me, which was, a blanket, an extra pair of wool socks. Actually, I carried 2 extra pair of wool socks, an extra pair of winter boots, carried snowshoes. If it was in the wintertime, I carried snowshoes. Some water, a little pot, so I could maybe, if it was cold and I just had to go cross country on snowshoes, then I would be all set, because it would be like a straight shot. It'd be a long, awful walk, but I could get there. And so if I had to abandon my car for whatever reason, then I could go on foot, and I would be prepared for what I would need. So I had food, I had water, I had matches, I had a complete change of extra clothes, I had extra boots, I had like a 5x7 tarp and a small roll of clear plastic. Clear plastic. And I had other things too, but I still do. They're still in my vehicle, but so that's what works for me. You know, I had a little pocket knife that I had in there, and some twine, some baling twine, a short piece of rope, paracord. You know, what I needed for me, because one, I'm a country girl and I've done a considerable amount of camping since I was a real wee one, folks. So I know how to get by a little bit. So that's why I carried a buggy bag. So everybody's buggy bag is different. You know, if you live in the city, your buggy bag is going to look way different than mine in the country, maybe. I don't know. You know, here I wouldn't need a means of defense walking through the woods. What's going to attack me in the woods? You know? Now, somebody that wasn't around the woods much probably would get a little scared. You know, there's stories of bear and coyote and all these bobcat. There's all these awful stories out there, but I'm telling you right now, here in this area, here in Maine woods, nothing's going to bother you. The only thing that's going to bother you is people, and you're not going to find people out through the woods in the swamp and bog, and you're just not going to... Animals are more scared of you than you are of them. It's the people that bother me, and I'm not going to find people out there. So that's why I had a buggy bag, have a buggy bag. So, but you know, a buggy bag isn't going to do you much good if you don't know how to use the material in there, and if it's too heavy to carry. I also had a emergency poncho, and I had, you know, a lighter that I keep in there, and you know, I had some cotton ball with a little Vaseline on it so I could start a fire if things were wet, or if I got too cold or whatnot, I could start a fire easily and quickly. So, you know, it's not going to do you any good if you don't keep this up here intact. Sometimes you have to slow down and step back and really think and be methodical. You gotta be calm in thought. You can't be in panic mode, because that's how it can get you hurt. So a buggy bag for me in the country is different than what it would be in the city. Now, somebody asked why, and a lot of people have asked why I don't list the channels that I like. And they said, well, you know, you're not hurting anything by doing that. You're helping people by doing that. And I'm giving that some thought. But I will say right now, there's a lot of spunk down in the Appalachia. There's a lot of spunk down there, and I appreciate that, and I think that's great. Well, us country folks up here in Maine, we got a lot of spunk too. So, you know, I'm just gonna say it. I'm just gonna put it right out there. If you haven't watched, and I'm sure most of you have, if you haven't watched Patara's Appalachia Homestead, I think it's what it's called. You gotta watch her. She's so real, folks. She's so funny. And she's gonna tell you what she thinks too. Let me tell you, that Appalachia spunk, I'm getting to really like them. So anyway, she did a little rant. I watched it last night, and I think it was the day before. So look back a couple of days from today, this video, and you know, you just watch some people and you hear some people and you automatically like them. You automatically can relate to them. Well, I can relate to the Appalachia people. Let me tell you right now, I'm just right in love with them. I'm right in love with them. So if you don't know who Patara is, you got to find out who Patara is. join her site. She's comical. She tells it like it is, and so, you know, I probably just opened up a can of worms, and now I kind of feel obligated to tell other channels that I like. So maybe I'll do a video on that. I'm going to give that a little bit more thought, but Patara, folks. Patara. So anyway, watch Patara, the rant. Ha, that was pretty good. That was pretty good. I'll send a little love your way. I'm going to do a video on the wildlife here that I have on my homestead here in Maine. And there was a little conversation I had this morning in the comments from yesterday's video about be quiet as bear. Bear are very quiet, and I have a lot of bear here. I've had them visit me up in the garden. I've had them on my deck, and I've had them, you know, standing up at my front door with their paws and their breasts peeking, you know, up against the window, looking in, and that's happened more than once, folks. So I've had them come up on my deck and disturb my buckets under the eaves, and yeah, I've had them scratch my coop. So we see bear an awful lot. I live next to the bog, so in the spring, when, you know, the ice and snow is melting and the bear come out of the den and the turtles start coming out, well, the bear will follow this bog looking for turtles to eat, because turtles are easy prey for them. So there's a lot of bear activity here in the spring. If you like this content, if you know of somebody who might like this content, if you like this video, you know the saying, like, subscribe, and share. I'd appreciate that little rant. I'm beginning to wonder if YouTube did something with that channel. Somebody had mentioned that they might have done that. When I did that little rant on FREEDOM space CONV convoy. I guess I can say convoy. You can't say FREEDOM or AMERICA or Pledge of Allegiance. I guess they don't like that. They don't like your love for America. So I can see my numbers really. It went from subscribing, I mean, several subscribers a day right down to none. And then I lost several, and I thought it was because of maybe the people watching, and maybe it was. But it's awful strange that happened like within an hour or two after I posted that video. So now that I've gotten away from those words, the numbers are going back up. Isn't that funny? Isn't that funny how that works? You know, 1984, Big Brother. And they're taking away words that they feel that we shouldn't be using, which, patriotic words, right? Patriotic words. If you feel this content is worth watching, please subscribe. If you think somebody else might like it, send them, share the video. And if you like this content, please like. I appreciate that. Keep my videos about 10 minutes long. The average view of my videos is something like 5 minutes and something, which from what I gather is longer than a lot, but less than a lot too. I guess the average watch duration for a lot of videos is like 3 to 4 minutes, and I'm over 5, so I must be doing something right. I hope it's because I keep it real and I keep it practical, and I just think outside the box a little bit.